Good evening, Slicey Dicey watchers. This is Brian, or Dobrovecher Druzdia, as the designer of this knife might say. Probably not, because that was Russian. He's from Belarus, not Russia. They do have their own language, but I know they speak a lot of Russian in Belarus, so I'm trying to give some kind of shout out. Trying to build international bridges here is what I'm trying to do. That's the tertiary mission of this channel. Build international bridges with terrible attempts at a country's language and only getting sort of close to it. So that's a fail right off the bat. But this knife, not a fail. This is designed by Dmitry Sinkevich, as I said, from Belarus, made by Zero Tolerance. This is the Zero Tolerance 0450. This is not a new thing to a lot of you guys. I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen this before. It's a very popular model of theirs. Primarily, I think, well, not primarily, but partly because it's one of their lowest price models. This is 150, 160 bucks street price on Amazon or Blade HQ, places like that. And this is the titanium frame version. They also make a carbon fiber one that's more expensive and a little bit lighter. But great knife. What is the purpose of this knife? What is the intended purpose? What do I think people do? It's marketed as an EDC knife, something you'd carry all the time. It's not exactly in my ideal EDC realm, and I'll get to why that is. I use it more, and I look at it more as kind of a gentleman's kind of folder. It is something that's very pretty to take out of your pocket and click open. It makes a very satisfyingly mechanical, but I don't think intimidating sound. It's just got a nice little solid mechanical click. Anyone who, even if you know anything about knives, you can take a glance at this and know this is a well-made thing. Forget that it's a knife and that it's a tool and that it can be used to injure people. I don't think people think that when they look at this. It looks more technical than tactical, as I've described other knives, and it just makes that satisfying click. It looks so like anybody can just see, wow, this is just really well done. This is very pretty. Like in the bicycle world, there are some bikes that I ride that cost $4,000, and I tell someone that, and they freak out. And there's other bikes I ride that cost $8,000, and I tell them that cost that, and people just go, "Oh, that makes sense." I think if you show this knife to somebody and they said, "What's it cost?" and you said 150 bucks, I think they would go, "Yeah, that checks out." I think I don't think they're gonna go, "What, for 150 bucks for a knife?" If they touch it, they're gonna be like, "Wow, no, I see why." Immediately when you pick it up, you know why. Zero Tolerance does great stuff. It's kind of funny that I wound up with this is my first Zero Tolerance I've owned, and it's kind of surprising this is the one I wound up with. I always looked at Zero Tolerance back when I first got into knives as these big kind of heavy blunt instrument sort of things. It's and they build up that image themselves. I mean, they've got stuff on their boxes that say like built like a tank. Like here's the box this one came in, and it says proudly overbuilt in the USA by Kai USA Limited, and go bold, and that's like the least broy slogan they have on all their boxes, But they kind of build up that image themselves, and you just think of them as these big, tank-like weapons, and I was really, when I saw this, I was really just attracted to it because I do like a big heavy knife sometimes, but for my daily use, I like something a little smaller and a little more elegant anyway. And this fits that bill. The 0450 is a smaller version of the 0454, which is slightly scaled up, but still not as big and bruisery as something like an 801 or something like that. Sinkevich's designs always, I think, are pretty elegant looking. I just really like the overall look of it. And like I said, I wouldn't call this their entry level one, but it is in the lower end of their price scale. I think they have one or two that are a few bucks cheaper, but not much. Let's get into the stats of this bad boy. Overall length we've got is about a little under 7.4 inches, 7.375. 3¼ inch blade length. Blade thickness, we're looking at 0.12, so pretty thin blade, but a pretty good tip on it, I do have to say. I was not expecting that. I thought this would be a little more dainty, but it really isn't. It's not a great. I mean, it's not. I don't want to do a whole lot of prying with it or anything, but the drop point it's pretty thick. Blade steel. We've got S35 VN. If I can get that up here where you can see it. Perfect. for this price range at exactly what I would expect. A good steel. It holds an edge really well. I have not had to sharpen this yet, and I have not sharpened any S35s yet. I have another couple, but I haven't had to sharpen them yet. But from what I hear, it's not too hard to sharpen. I don't think it's the easiest stuff in the world, I'd imagine, but it's not too super bad if you've got the proper stuff to do it with. Titanium frame lock, of course. We'll get to the action on it here in a minute, but let's just, I gotta open, oh man, getting ahead of myself. It's so smooth. Got a clip, the clip is not a deep carry, which that's one of my biggest flaws of this knife is why doesn't it have a deep carry clip? A knife like this, it should have a deep carry clip. I really do. Like some of the bigger, heftier stuff, I don't get wound up if it doesn't have a deep carry clip, but this is something I carry like in the fifth pocket of my jeans, and it fits okay, but it would fit better, if it was deep carry clip. And yes, it's the fifth pocket. It's not. I've heard some people call it a change pocket. Who puts change in the pocket of that pocket of your pants? You need be like Plastic Man to get the freaking change out of that pocket. It's for knives. That's all I ever use it for, pretty much, if they'll fit in there. Open construction. Got these nice red standoffs. I wish those came in colors. I'm sure there's probably an aftermarket somewhere where you can get those. It does have a hardened steel insert. Get that close. You can see it. Yeah, there it is in the frame lock, so that it's not going to be titanium on steel, which you don't want because your titanium would wear out. But we've got it's a pretty good lockup. What are we looking at? 30%, something like that. That's enough for me. Overall weight 2.9 ounces, not bad at all, especially for a full titanium frame. That's pretty good weight, and it's not a tiny knife. It's not big. I would put it on the smaller end of the EDC scale, but it's not a small knife by any means. So 2.9 ounces for a full titanium frame and all these pretty good looks. Maybe that's why it's cheaper than some of the other zero tolerances. Maybe they sell them by the pound. I'm not sure. Probably not. It's a bad joke, but let's pretend it was good. Tip up carry only, but it is right or left. Tip up's fine with me. I'm not married to one or the other, so that doesn't bother me a bit. And they'd have to make it, I think, with how big, this is all runs on bearings, and how big that pivot is. They probably would have to have made it significantly bigger or had it ride super high if they made it tip up. So I'm completely fine with that. The action on this thing. Wow. Okay, I've still said I'm not going to do it yet. I'm not going to do it yet. Let's do some size comparisons first before I start raving about the action on it. Let's put this up a little bit higher. First off, we got your Delica 4. So how that compares, pretty similar really. This is just a tick longer, but the Delica 4 folded is definitely significantly thicker. This is a much thinner knife and much easier to get your hand past. It does the flipper tab does stick out a bit when you're going in and out of your pockets, but it's fine. It's got a little jimping on it, but yeah, you don't even notice it because the knife itself is so thin, and it's also very thin. 0.4 inches wide this way, so it's thin both dimensions. So it does kind of disappear in your pocket. It is easy to kind of forget even that it's there. So, and the lightweight, that's good. Compare it also to, what do we got? Another fifth pocket knife. I'll call these the Delica 4. I carry in my fifth pocket a lot. Another fifth pocketable knife. It's your Benchmade Mini Barrage assisted. Totally different thing, but and this isn't that much less expensive than that is. And let's see, one other little fifth pocket knife. I can never get this thing open. The fairly low end CRKT M1601S. 01S, yeah. Which I'm realizing has a bit of a rusty blade on it. How am I going to fix that? I'll probably give it away. That's probably how I'll fix it. I know how to take rust off blades. We'll get into that later. I've been on kind of a kick lately of resurrecting pawn shop knives. So, yeah, I do know how to get the rust off, but I don't carry that one anymore. I'm probably just going to give it to somebody. And let's just compare it to one bigger knife just to get a comparison to it. Our Manix 2 lightweight. This is something that I carry a lot. So you need a lot. This is you can hide behind it easily. You never know it was there. Let's get on to the action. Now we're finally going to get to what I really want to talk about. Zero Tolerance is known for their ball bearings. Like the action is why I wanted to get a Zero Tolerance. I heard so much about how great the action was, and man, this did not disappoint me. It's so smooth, and God, it makes just the most satisfying click. I really hope it comes across on the mic on here. It's just schnicked. It's like Wolverine snapping out his claws. That's what I imagine it sounds like. In the when they wrote schnicked in the Marvel comics, that's the noise they were trying to describe. Schnicked. The one downside to getting that schnicked, a lot of people will say that the action is stiff, and that's because this is a frame lock and it's a fairly small one. And a lot of guys are pushing on the... If you put much pressure at all on that frame lock, it doesn't schnicked. You gotta move your finger down. So you just gotta kind of figure out how to hold it. If you've got big fat fingers, I don't. I have skinny little dainty writer man fingers. So yeah, I can do it fine. But I can understand that if you've got big man working hands, it's going to be kind of hard to get your hands right on this. I think the easiest way myself is just to hold on to the clip, because you're not going to, if you're holding on to the clip, you're not going to catch it. But the action on it, oh, so smooth. And God, and I know I've said it already, but that sound, wow, that's a good sound. It's a very pleasurable thing to play with. And let's get to the ergonomics. This is kind of the downside after I've just praised it in so many ways. Ergonomically, I don't have the biggest hands in the world. I think this is a 9 size ring, 9.5. I've got my wife and I wear almost exactly the same ring size. I do not have thick fingers or very thick hands, and this is okay, but it's barely okay. I mean, my pinky's really not doing anything here. If I really had to grip on it, I'm pushing right on that pointy bit there. I wouldn't say it has hot spots or anything like that. It's like a 1/4 inch too short. Like that's it. Just like a 1/4 inch. Or even if this was just beveled off, or it was just like it moved back just like a 1/4 inch. Like I think if they made this a 1/4 inch longer with a deep carry pocket clip, it would still be just as pocketable and would fit my hands so much better. I mean, and there's not even much. Yeah, you could put a lanyard on it, but you're not gonna do that to something like this. This isn't that kind of knife. The lanyard hole, I think, is kind of superfluous on this. I'm sure there's somebody out there who's got a lanyard on one of these. Message me if you are, but kind of wondering what you're thinking. This knife is very functional as a tool, but it's more about. I just think it's more about being pretty. How does it cut? I skipped over all that. How does it cut? I got so caught up in its beauty and stuff that. How does it cut? Well, let's bring out our usual paper here. I wouldn't say it's like the best slicer on the planet, but there we go. Look at this. Shout out to my other website. This is our old ad rate sheet. I've changed that, so I've got a bunch of these later. But I've been using this a fair amount. I did carry it every day for like a week, and still great. Still really good. Yeah, now I'm not holding it right. There we go. Very sharp out of the box. I did cut a fair amount of cardboard with this, so it's probably getting near needing a strop or something like that. But sharpness is good. It is a good slicer. I wouldn't say it's a great slicer. Like I said, I did cut through a fair amount of cardboard with it the other day because I knew it was something that this isn't really like, what a lot of people are going to do with it. But I wanted to put it through some semi-heavy use, so I did. And I still held the edge really well, as you can see there. And it's a useful, usable knife. A lot of people, I look on the reviews and stuff that other people have written about it, and comments on Amazon and Blade HQ and things, and people say they carry these every day, and I could see why. It's pretty, it's useful. I think it errs slightly more towards the pretty side than the useful side, but it's still a very useful, usable knife. It's just, even with my hands, I've got long fingers, but they're skinny fingers, and I don't know. I can't get past that. The ergonomically is why it's not something I reach for all the time. every time I grab it, I know it's because it's beautiful. That's why I grab it, and it's useful enough. So, 0450. I like it. I'm not gonna not recommend it. It's a great knife, and a lot of people really love them. Just for me, it's just not something I think I would carry, uh, you know, every single day. But if I gotta suit up and put a nice suit up and go to, you know, one of my sister's friends who I don't even know's wedding, this is probably what's going to be in my pocket. And if I have to take it out to do something, to cut some cheese or an apple or something, I know nobody's going to freak out about it. So great knife for its purpose. But I'm eager to try one of the other more serious, heavy duty zero tolerances. I think that's more what they try to be about, and I want to see what that's all about. So my next one's going to probably be one of the bigger ones. But thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this was informative to you. I've been Brian at Slicey Dicey. Have a good evening, everybody. Or it's evening here, but or morning, whatever it is, wherever the hell you're at. Talk to you later, guys. Bye.